Chat, I want to talk a little bit about a concept that I personally have been fascinated with, and also happens to be something that is taking the world by storm right now, and that is the concept of Looksmaxing. But I don't want to talk about it as like, some new trend because I believe Looksmaxing is a very big part of self-development, which honestly, I was reflecting on my life just recently, and it dawned on me that, I've been looks maxing my entire life. And the reason why I say that is because if you've been following my Snap, you probably would notice that I've talked about the fact that I was born with congenital ptosis. And, being born with something like that makes you different, or in the early stages of your life, it makes you feel less than the other people that are around you. And if you're the kind of person who is dealing with or was dealt with the lack of self-confidence, you probably would know what I mean. If you've at some point, you've worried about your weight, the way you looked, or something about yourself that you feel you cannot change, you definitely know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that is where looks maxing comes in. But I don't want to talk about looks maxing as just about looks, because then that's vain, and honestly, that's a lot of the content I've been seeing around Looks Maxin. It's all about, the external, like the surface level, like how do I look? And I'm not saying this is not important. It's very important. But personally, I want to talk about my experience and how I dealt with this, because I feel like now a lot of people walk up to me, they're like, oh, you're so fit, you're good looking, all this comments and all this, compliments, which I definitely appreciate and I accept it. But it took me a very long time to get there. And I think a lot of people don't see the journey or the process that you take. They only see the final result. And I think that's what draws people in. But also, I want to share the things that work for me, because I believe there are probably like one or two people or more who are dealing with the lack of self confidence, or people who are finding it difficult to accept something about themselves. And I have to say, the first step is, first of all, accepting what is. If you have something about yourself that you cannot change, that it's just impossible for you to change, like that's just how God created you, the first step is accepting that. Because when you accept what is, you will have more energy to now focus on other areas of your life that you need to improve. But if you deny those things about yourself that you don't like, and you pretend like it doesn't exist or it's not there, then you're it's bad. That's really bad, because what happens is when you tell one lie, you try to find other lies to cover that one lie, and it's never ending. It's just more lies over lies. So don't tell yourself a lie. Like, first of all, accept what that thing is. It's almost kind of like, you know what, this is who I am. I can't change it. And the moment you do that, you free yourself a lot of bandwidth that now you can now focus on, working on other parts of yourself. In my case, for example, I was born with congenital ptosis, and I knew, you know, there was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't even hide it, even if I wanted to, because it's my eye, and it's like the first thing that people literally see when they see me. So I couldn't deny it. So first I accepted it, and now I ask myself, okay, what other parts of my life, what other areas of my life do I want to enhance? Do I want to max out? And that was when I started looking at fitness. I started playing sport. I started, you know, taking the food I eat seriously. I started taking fashion and style and putting things together, seriously. And that became a way that I was able to max my being. It's not just about maxing your looks. I think that is just so temporary, and because looks fade after a while. Like, yes, you will maintain and do all sorts of things, but you just want to focus on that. For you to really be more confident, it goes deeper than just look. So you need to think about yourself. For example, if you're the kind of person who is like struggling with your weight. Maybe you're the kind of person that you perceive yourself to be overweight. You might not even be as overweight as you think, but you just don't feel confident. Let's just put it that way. The first thing you need to do is like, I mean, with weight, you probably can go to the gym and watch your diet and do things, to get your weight down. I think, of course, you need to do that. But if you're comfortable or confident with who you are and how you are, and you feel like you don't need to go to the gym, that's also fine. But the first step is like accepting what that is. And then maybe you're a funny person and you're just hilarious. You just like to tell jokes. But because you're so conscious of the fact that you're overweight or big, you can't even be funny because you're so afraid of telling fat jokes, because then it's gonna feel like you're making jokes about yourself. Do you see what I mean? By if you don't accept yourself, you also like you you deny yourself a lot of things. So you're not able to level up or like, step into a different power because you keep seeing yourself as like this person that is not enough and is not, confident. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is because I'm seeing a lot more guys like talk about like the concept of looksmaxing, which honestly I support, but I think a lot of people are just so focused on the extent of the vanity part of it. And as someone who's been looks maxing their entire life, I have to say, like, if you focus on just your look, like, it's so temporary. You need to focus on other parts of yourself. You need to unlock things that you haven't even explored. And I think the reason why we all have something about ourselves that we're not comfortable with or makes us less self-confident is because just by nature, there are other parts of your body or other parts of your existence that you need to nurture. And nature doesn't just want you to rely on your looks, because if your looks was like all 100% and perfect, you wouldn't want to focus on, improving other aspects of your life, if you know what I mean. So by having something in your life that makes you feel less confident or just lack that confidence, is because it's there for you to unlock other things about yourself that you haven't even thought about, that you didn't even know it's there. And I feel like I need to talk about this because I didn't just want to talk about it as the concept of looks maxing, because I didn't want it to sound vain, because it's not. Because I think when you improve yourself, you can actually unlock new opportunities for yourself. You can, it's a big part of self-development. And I think, one of the things that we owe ourselves is to keep improving. Like you just have to keep improving in whatever way, what it doesn't have to be in a particular area, but overall you just need to, improve yourself. And I think looks maxing is a part of it, but that's just like 10%. That's just 10%. And don't focus your energy on just that. Like think about other things. Look at yourself as like a whole, a complete being. And yeah. And I was doing that today and analyzing and thinking about, my journey, because this video is actually triggered by one of the comments that someone left me, asking, about my eye. So I thought I was gonna make a longer video while I'm waiting for my flight. And we're gonna be boarding shortly, but I thought I was just gonna make a quick video just to talk about this concept, because I think, I want a lot of people to, improve and be better, because you definitely can be better. And don't look at yourself like you don't matter because you have something about yourself that you're not confident about. Like, no, don't think about it that way. You're amazing the way you are, but you just need to now look outside of that. Like, think about ways you can improve other areas of your life. So I hope this video, I hope you found it useful and inspiring. I just thought I was gonna come on and, do a quick long form video. I'm gonna go board my flight now, heading to LA. I'll see you in the next video.